what I get from all this narrative, all this attack from other clubs, is that there is a fear factor now out there.
Yes.
In the Arsenal is mentioned. Transit TV, welcome back to Reggie Transfer Talk. Back again with my man Ugum. Today, of course, we know there's so much news out there, especially for Arsenal. The transfer window finally is in the top gear. Movements left, right, and center. Clubs are bidding, clubs are selling, clubs are trying to move players on, and clubs are trying to move players in. Coaches, anxious moment for fans. There's so many dimensions or views out there for different transfers. So we are here today to look at major deals concerning Arsenal and Man United. There's so much to be talked about out there. So, but today we're going to focus on Arsenal and Man United. So stick around with us. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Like and share this video as you enjoy it. We're here to give you some insight. As usual, you know how we bring our own dimensions to these issues, to these deals, to these topics out there on social media, on Twitter. The social media, the air out there has been unmanned in the last 24 hours. There's so much to be talked about. So I'm here with my man Ugum today to give you our own side of the proceedings. Ugum, we are back to the show.
Reggie, it's my pleasure again to be on Transit TV and the Reggie Show. It's wonderful. It's a good day for Gunners, all Arsenal fans, which I am one of them. I'm happy because of the news we're hearing in the transfer market. But we welcome everyone to the show again and the channel. And as usual, we encourage everyone to subscribe and to share. And please drop your comments as well. If you try to drop comments and you cannot, please find a way to let us know so that we make it possible for you to drop your comments. We encourage your feedback so we know whether you're really finding what we're saying interesting and whether you'd like us to discuss any topics that we haven't covered on the show. So you're welcome, everyone.
Yes, before we go, I want to remind our Niger football viewers to look forward to our video dropping out. It's going to drop tomorrow by tomorrow or Friday, because we're recording this video on Wednesday evening. We'll be having Coach Dele on the show. We're going to be giving you the outcome of the Super 8 that was played in Eket Stadium last weekend, and what was going to be the next stage on the competition. And he's also going to be giving us some insights on Nigeria football. So for those who have been craving for news and updates and insights on Nigeria football, Nigeria Professional League, look forward to that video. Probably it will be dropping on Friday morning. We encourage you to look out for it, watch the video, and give us your comments or what you feel or what areas you think we should look into in covering Nigerian football. So there's no other place to start today, other than Declan Rice. Yeah, we've not had. I know we've talked about him a lot on this show, but the last 2-3 days, the noise has been too much. The movement, the updates been a lot. I said, okay, we decided to take a chill and watch and see where he goes. Now, it looks very certain that he's going to go to Arsenal, barring any very, very massive or serious hiccup. Arsenal bidded last night 105 million in total, 100 million guaranteed and 5 million in add-ons. And this morning, Man City, told West Ham they were pulling out from the deal. We all know they already bidded a total of 95 million previously. The 70 million, 80 million guaranteed and 15 million in add-ons, which was rejected by West Ham. Then Arsenal responded yesterday by breaking Arsenal transfer record, breaking transfer record for any British player, and offered to pay 100 million guaranteed and 5 million in add-ons to West Ham. This afternoon, the big heads, the big guns, the reliable sources the journalists that we know that rely on when it comes to transfer window tweeted this afternoon that West Ham has accepted the deal from Arsenal, that the both teams are now ironing out little technicalities in terms of payment structure and stuff like that. We're talking about David Austin and Fabrizio Romano. So it's a good times for Arsenal fans, good time for Arsenal as a club, and a great addition to the team, I will assume. Ugum, so talk us through, what do you think about, how did you handle the whole roller coaster about this deal, and what do you think this deal is going to bring to the club?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster, like you said. That's the right word to describe it. A cluster of emotions, ups and downs, ins and outs. There were all kinds of rumors. I know I had two or three journalists that I usually believe what they say and trust them. I had them on speed browsing, not speed dial, because I can't dial their numbers. But I had their Twitter pages and their Facebook pages up all the time, checking almost minute by minute updates because Declan Rice is a player that I wanted to come to Arsenal. I know there's been that debate between Declan Rice and Caicedo, trying to determine who is better and who will suit Arsenal more, or who Arsenal would need more, and who will cost less or more, and all that. I wasn't too bothered about the cost. I was bothered about the quality of the player. I was bothered about what the player will bring to the team, and how the future will look with that player. And for a few reasons, I felt like we've discussed one on one that Declan Rice would be a better fit. And if by any chance Caicedo gets added to that, then it will be Christmas Day. But you know, Declan Rice is going to bring so much to the Arsenal team. Uh, basic, basic passing of the ball, which is a major hallmark of the Arsenal game under Mikel Arteta. Being able to retain possession, offensively, defensively, being able to make decisions under pressure, good decisions under pressure. Is proven to be someone that can make good decisions, that generally makes the right decisions on the field. I watched him play with Jude Bellingham for England at the World Cup and saw how calm and how imposing and how controlling this dude was, how hardworking he was too for England. Yes, granted they played a largely defensive, will I say approach or whatever to the English team, but he had a lot that revolved around him. He was able to always carry the ball out, always protect his defense, always do whatever needed to be done for the sake of the team, for the team to succeed. And so I find someone that's going to be selfless, someone that's going to be a leader in the locker room and on the pitch, someone that wears his heart on his sleeve. You will know what you're getting. I mean, I've listened to a few West Ham fans. Nobody has had a bad word to say about this guy. Yes, they're like, okay, you've done your best for us. You've done everything you can do for us. And so we give you our blessing to go where you want to go. And people have said all kinds of stuff. I'm sure all kinds of conspiracy theories will come, depending on who is speaking and what their personal bias is. I am convinced that this man decided to choose Arsenal ahead of Manchester City. You know, it may not make sense to a lot of people, but I know that there are people that are just like that. They make their decision based on their own personal principles and what they believe in. Declan Rice comes across to me like one of those kind of people, and he told his club, "Listen, this is the club I want to go to." I'm not saying that if City had won the bid, that he wouldn't have gone. Of course, he would have. But given the choice, I think that he said, "Hey, I want Arsenal." And City being the kind of club they are, you know, also saw that and decided to withdraw. But the long and short of it is that, yes, I am delighted to have this kind of man and this kind of player join the Arsenal with a British record, something that's never been associated with a club like Arsenal. There are better days ahead. I'm so excited to looking forward to the new season.
Yeah, I think I share with you. I share the same emotions with you on this one. Is really a very. There are so many ways to look at this transfer. There are so many. It has a lot of implication to both the team on the field and Arsenal as a club, because we have seen good, high quality players in Arsenal over the years leave Arsenal, go to Chelsea, go to Man United, go to Man City. Arsenal has been losing, their players of this kind of potential, go to their rivals and go there and win trophies. A lot of words or attacks have been worked on Arsenal, both by Arsenal fans and rivalry fans, on the management and coaches of Arsenal for letting their highly prized assets to go to rival clubs and go there and win trophies. We know the story of Robin Van Persie to Man United. We know about Cesc Fabregas. We know about Clichy and Sagna going to Man City and Nasri. So this has been happening over the years. For Arsenal to go toe-to-toe with Man City against the Rice in a deal worth over 100 or up to 100 million pounds really shows that the club is back to where they used to be and where they should be and where they're expected to be. So the people are obviously, like you said, we're not going to pay attention too much to the money. It's possible that if we were to be in Europe, in Spain or Germany or something, maybe the careers would have cost like 80 million, maybe 90 million, maybe 75 million. Yeah, that's fine. The extra 25 million or 15 million that was paid on him doesn't really matter so much to me, because what happens here is Arsenal has gotten their priority target, and considering what Arteta need to have done in the transfer market in the last 3 seasons, they have a reason for going for any player. All the transfer they have done, 8 out of 10 have worked out. So it shows that there is specific reason why they are going this hard on Declan Rice. So I believe that it's going to be a very big hit for Arsenal, because looking at him, like you rightly said, he comes across as like I tell people, in everything you do in life, everybody can have talent, everybody can have ability, but attitude is something that is difficult to be taught and is difficult to imitate. If you don't have it, you struggle. It takes you a lot more effort to get it, as against when you don't have it. This guy comes across as somebody that is a proper professional, a proper fit to the dressing room that Tata is trying to build in Arsenal. We know what happened in the last 2 years, how many players he had let go based on their attitude, based on the way they approach. And these are the things that he calls non-negotiable. So I don't think Arsenal is going to do much or invest a lot of effort and resources in trying to let him understand what is expected of anybody that walks into that dressing room. It looks like he already embodies what Arsenal wants in terms of conduct, in terms of attitude. So there's so much value to signing Declan Rice than just seeing him on the pitch, kick the ball around. Then again, his makeup. We also see that Arteta has gone to sign players who have multiple abilities on the pitch, who can play in different positions. Declan Rice started his career as a centre back. He plays as a 6. He also has played further forward in the midfield for West Ham, helping them to create and score goals. He's a penalty taker, he's a free kick taker, and he's a leader. So he's bringing so much to the team. Yes, he might not be a flamboyant player, the one that is, that plays to the crowd, that people want to come out, that might have probably some extra commercial value. But technically and in other areas, he's bringing he's going to be a very huge asset to Arsenal. We hope that this deal, crosses the line the next few hours. By the time we wake up tomorrow morning, I would love to hear that Arsenal has finally, agreed with West Ham in all areas, and Declan Rice is now an Arsenal player. So kudos to Arsenal, kudos to Mikel Arteta, kudos to Edu, all the people that worked behind the scene to get this deal up to this point where we are, where we can celebrate now, even though we still have maybe probably 5% of the deal to be decided. But I believe that Arsenal has gotten their man. So this shows that the club is gradually, if not already, returning back to where they used to be. the pressure now shifts to Arteta. He's getting what he wants from the Kroenkes.
Yeah.
All the people that were on the Kroenkes back now can give them a break, though they already did since last season. So now we can give them a break and sit back and watch the club, the team, and the squad, transform into stable, title challengers and compete for trophies all across Europe and locally as well. So that's I think there isn't. We'll still probably before the season starts or after they do a special content on Declan Rice. There's so much about the guy to be talked about. So I will probably leave that for now and move on to other players and other deals concerning Arsenal and Man United. And the next will be Kai Havertz. I know almost every time we'll do this show, we'll mention this name. But the reason this time around is officially, though he has not been announced, but we have seen videos leaked, pictures leaked.
Yeah, he just got announced.
Oh, okay, exactly. As we were recording
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, he's an Arsenal player. So before I don't know. I know that the last 1 week, the last 2 days, we have had time to think about this deal in particular, because initially when he first broke that Arsenal was going for Kai Havertz, almost everybody could not wrap their head around this one. But as time went on, I'm sure he would have thought about it. I'm sure he would have, done some research. What do you think? What is Kai Havertz going to bring to the Arsenal team? If he were to be Arteta.
I've always told people that right from the word go, before he signed for Chelsea, he was a player that caught my eye back then in Leverkusen in Germany. I saw from the first game of his that I watched, I was like, this guy is good. And then I saw him in the German national team. I saw a bright talent, tireless worker up front that could switch positions. He was largely playing from the right wing, coming in, cutting in with the left, and making very good decisions on the ball and scoring goals. So I was like, man, I wish Arsenal could find this kind of talent and get him while he was young. But Chelsea managed to do that. I think they brought him in at the age of 21 or something. And so Havertz is going to bring versatility to Arsenal. He's a versatile forward that can play as an attacking mid and can also play as a top man, though not in the normal number 9 mode. Because he's very cerebral. He doesn't have that imposing presence, though he's tall. He's 6'4", but I've seen him score some very nice goals with headers. So he's going to bring that aerial presence on set pieces and even beyond set pieces. I also see someone that was going to combine very impeccably with the likes of Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka. Odegaard and Martinelli are very intelligent wingers that can use both feet to do really good things. I've seen Martinelli sometimes hug the touchline, get to the touchline, and cut the ball across with the left foot. I cannot see him doing that and Havertz approaching him and meeting those kind of balls and those balls ending in the net. I also see Saka doing the same thing. Saka sometimes, most people expect him to cut in and take a shot with the left. He drives it to the byline and cuts it back with his right. I also see Havertz meeting those kind of balls. So now we're going to have someone that can build up play with those wingers and be able to enter the 18-yard box and meet their crosses. And that's one thing that Arsenal has lacked in the past few seasons. Having the wingers work so hard, or even the fullback work so hard, get to the byline and pull the ball across, and there's nobody there to finish. I think that Saka last season kind of built it up a little bit. Good understanding with Odegaard, where he sensed he knew where Odegaard would place the ball most of the time, and he would try to get in there and meet the balls. And so, I see Havertz is very intelligent from what I saw him both at Chelsea, even with all the criticism, and then when he was at Leverkusen. So I'm excited. I'm excited because we're going to have a fluid attack, and whoever is playing in that attack will bring value. I can see that. So the coach will now have options with strategies, with the patterns he wants to play, with the personnel he wants to use. He will have options to do whatever he wants to do on the pitch, prepare specifically for some specific teams, and be able to, bring his ideas to fruition. So I'm sure that before Havertz agreed to this move, he must have sat down with Arteta. Arteta is known to be able to explain a clear strategy for the future for a player. And that has won him. We can see how many signings he's been able to accomplish just by explaining clearly to the player what he wants to use him for and how he wants to use it. The player buys into it, and that's it. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. But, something tells me that Arsenal are going to bring in another forward player, either a winger or a striker. Um, I think they're going to do that, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah, all you said, I agree with. I will just add on it. I think I read a report. Ateta, I think he's in Spain now, having a brief holidays. Though that should be called a working holiday. And he made a comment, and that gave me a little insight on what his plans for Havertz is going to be. He said he's a player that's going to bring movement and some variety to our midfield. So that tells me that Havertz is going to play more in our midfield, but not in a deeper role, but an advanced role. Like you said, yes. We're talking off air. That guy, people think he's like a lackadaisical or he's lazy. He's a very good presser. And no footballer has all that you need in a footballer. Everybody has their own weakness. People are talking about, is he going to be able to cover up the defensive side of Xhaka? But they also forget that Xhaka also had deficiencies going forward. And if he had those going forward, probably he wouldn't need much of his defensive side. So talking about, like you said, Kahava is a player that has very good movement, very, very intelligent. I've watched him play against Arsenal before. I remember one time when he cut his hair, I watched him live, and I couldn't recognize that he was the one because of the way he was moving between the lines. I think what I've come to analyze or come to conclusion in Chelsea is that I think he's a little bit of a player that was ahead of his teammates in Chelsea. That's why most of it didn't really work out the way one would have thought it would work out. Because why do I say that? He moves too quick into space for them. And that was what I found out the day I watched Arsenal play Chelsea live and I saw him move. So he was in so many dangerous positions, that got me worried. But the passes never really arrived there. There's one player that used to be scared of anytime he plays against Arsenal, which is Rhys James. Rhys James is the only player in Chelsea that I've seen that finds Havertz when he needs to. But unfortunately for the team, the guy is always injured. He's always having long-term injuries. It has not worked out. So I'll go with you. And again, Xhaka before last season, nobody ever believed he could be that effective in attacking third. Arteta single-handedly transformed him into a machine going forward. He provided goals and he scored goals, even with his stiffness. So why would somebody not believe that Arteta has a plan or has something that he has seen that he can use in Kai Havertz? Nobody can deny the fact that this guy is gifted. This guy is talented. Nobody can deny that fact. It's just that he has not produced. So I believe Arteta has what it takes to bring out the best in a player, and also has like you mentioned, a lot of players who have been interviewed about talking to Arteta or working with Arteta, they say one thing they always say, they all agree about Arteta is that is the clarity that he has, that is a coach that he makes it clear for you. This is what I wanted to do. There's no confusion. You don't have to ask questions. Once he explains it, you understand it. So I believe that Kai Havertz is going to work well with Arteta, and it's going to be, Then again, some people are talking about why will you buy? Is he going to start? I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that Kai Havertz has a starting shirt in Arsenal. or he doesn't. But one of the reasons why people did never believe that Arsenal will win the league last season was because when you look at the bench of Manchester City, you know that the person that sits on the bench is as good as the player that is on the field. So why would somebody be criticizing Arsenal for going to sign a quality player even if it's not going to start? What they're trying to do is to build a squad that will compete both on the bench and on the field. So I don't think there's anything wrong with investing heavily on a player. I mean, the team did very well last season. So why would anybody come to before you can come to that team now and just walk in? You have to be one of the best in the world, you know. So I don't see anything wrong with this signing, you know. So I believe the Kai Havertz coming to us now. I'm not going to say I'm very confident that it's going to work, but I have trust and belief and faith in Arteta and the attributes of Kai Havertz that is going to work. So that I will take that for that. But so now, considering the movement Arsenal is making in the transfer window, what is the implication? Where does that leave Xhaka and Partey? What do you think? What do you reckon is going to happen with these two as the transfer window unfolds? Or what do you think?
I honestly think that Arsenal will still have gone for Declan Rice even with Xhaka and Partey in the team because they needed to strengthen the midfield. But now that Xhaka is likely to leave, it's almost certain. I hear from reports they've said that they're just waiting on Rice to be confirmed before they allow him move to where he wants to go in Germany. So that's what I think will happen. I think Xhaka will leave. Fortunately and unhappily, I'm hearing today the rumors that are coming around or the reports that are coming around say that Partey isn't going anywhere. Partey is going to stay, that the club doesn't want to sell him. It's actually Partey that wants to leave, but they've said no, they're not going to sell him. I hope they don't sell him because with Partey and Rice and perhaps one more player in the midfield, which I think Arsenal will get, a younger player, then I think we are set. And of course, Hernan is there to, in the worst case scenario, we need someone to just come and help do something. So, and we have Julian Timber, who people are speculating may end up also helping the midfield. And I agree with that 100% because of his excellent passing range and his defensive nose. So, yeah, I think that we can afford to lose one of Shaka or Thomas Partey with Rice coming in, and then we should be fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't like to lose two of them. It will really affect the team. But then I trust the coach that if we're replacing them, we need to replace them early before preseason. So they'll be part of preseason, and the coach will prepare his team very well and hit the ground running.
So do you reckon Arsenal still going for Lavia if Partey stays and they signed Declan Rice and of course already signed Kai Havertz?
Yes, I don't see Kai Havertz as a midfield option. He may be, he may have been bought to kind of feature somewhere in the midfield, of course, offensively. But if we're talking about our midfield unit, I don't think Kai Havertz is going to be a part of our midfield unit. I think it's part of our forward unit more than the midfield unit. I mean, that's my own point of view, but that may not be what the coach wants to do. But I don't think he's been bought to work with. I've been bought to work in the offense. So yes, I think we should buy Lavia, or there are other talents like Yusuf Fofana that's with Monaco, a very strong defensive midfielder, central midfielder. We can go for such players as well if Lavia becomes too expensive.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. You know, a lot of what Arsenal is doing, or Arteta is doing right now, some say is copying from Manchester City, but I know that Arteta was part of that club for 3-4 years. He probably will also be one of the thinking tanks that built the module that they're using as well right now. So why? What
and did you see? Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Did you see his response when they asked him that question?
No, I can't remember.
Last 2 days or so ago, they asked him, "Why do you go to Manchester City always to buy players?" Simple answer: because they are very good. That's what he
Exactly.
told them.
Exactly.
Because
So
they are very good players.
yeah, so why I say that, Man City, they always replace their players ahead of time, most times. So
Yes.
that's why I reckon or I believe Arsenal should go for Lavia. As good as he is not going to be
Yes.
the one to upgrade or elevate the team. But if he can come
Yeah.
in this season, okay, 50 or 60 games a season, he manages to play 25. That's preparing him for party moving on maybe a year or 2 years from now. Then we'll see who this, the idea, the times or the time of waiting for a player to go, then start to struggle to replace him. I think he has passed. Now, good teams are beginning to replace their players who they know. Like, look at what they did with Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. They didn't let them go when they wanted to go last season. They used this season to get in Jack Grealish and all these people. So now, what's his name? Kovacic has come in this season. It might take him a few months to settle. But while he's still battling with settling down with the team, they have options. So this is what Man City have been doing the last 3, 4, 5 years. They replace the players ahead of time. Players that they know that they're going to move on in the next couple of years or in 1 year. They get somebody to understudy, then move the player on. And this is one of the reasons why Arsene Wenger too was successful. He used to do that in his early days. He brings somebody to. I remember Van Persie saying that when he joined Arsenal, he was handed over to Robert Pires to mentor him. And that was towards the end of Pires' career in Arsenal and stuff like that. So I believe Arsenal should go ahead.
Yeah, and just to add to something, just a different perspective to what you're saying. Arteta has been called out several times for going back. I heard someone on YouTube accusing him of not being able to buy players on his own, always looking for people from Manchester City. And I laugh because look at all the people leaving Manchester City, all the people that have left so far, look at where they've gone to, right? Gundogan has gone to where? Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Kyle Walker is being looked for by who? Bayern Munich. Bernardo Silva is being looked for by who? PSG. Look at all their players. Look at the kind of clubs going for them. But they keep singling Arteta out and saying that he's going to see all the kind of narratives that they run, just to generate certain biases. Don't just make sense to me.
And he just signed only 2 players. I remember from Man City we are taking over. They took how many players from Arsenal? They took Oloture. They took Clichy. They took Sagna. They took Nasri. They took Adebayo.
Yes.
From Arsenal. Yes. So I don't know, just signing 2 players, it becomes a and this takes me to the what I wanted to talk about to round up Arsenal before we move to Man United. I've in various forums, I've said not to talk much about this transfer, Arsenal and the transfer window, especially Declan Rice. I've been watching rival fans, comments, and attack on Arsenal, and it's really been very disturbing. And on the other note, it makes me happy because now some of them are beginning to swallow their bitter pill. Some are becoming, shamelessly aggressive on the club and attacking Arsenal. Why do I say that? Before now, they used to say Arsenal are very stingy. They are a poor club. They can't buy players. They only sign cheap players. Now, narrative has changed. Arsenal is overpaying. The Rice is not worth 100.
Yep.
So it's I don't even know where to place it anymore. Some people, I have a few people who have said, okay, I don't even want Rice to go to Man City. Let Arsenal sign him. Let's have competition in the EPL. But majority of the fans out there always find something to talk about Arsenal. Some say I thought I was going to be sacked next season after signing all these players. I don't understand where all these are coming from. I remember a few weeks ago, one of the Cronket teams won the championship in the US here, the Denver Nuggets, right?
Nuggets.
They won the NBA. And people are saying all Cronket outfits are winning trophies. It's only Arsenal. But they forget the other side of the narrative, that they always build these teams. They always hired young coaches. They
Yes.
always took their time. They build the team and they make it competitive. And if you look back from when these guys took full control of Arsenal, from the time they hired Arteta to now, anybody that says Arsenal has not made progress, then the person must be a liar, because the club has become valuable. The club now attracts important and big players. The club is now going toe to toe with big teams to bid for players. The club is not challenging for title. The club now having sustained winning runs. So it was when but rival clubs still find something to talk about Arsenal. I remember reading what's his name, Kai Havertz, one of the comments that he made. They asked him, how does he feel going to play with this team? He said something. And I also remember Gary Neville and Patrick Vieira, all these people, they used to say this, that when they file out in the dressing room to go play a game, sometimes if you look into the eyes of the opposing players, you see that they are scared. You see that they are scared. Meanwhile, your own team looks like players, people who want to go and devour the other team.
Yeah.
Ikahava said that he has experience playing against this team a few times, that there is no point talking about what he looks like, what he feels like playing against this team. That he could see that this is a team that has a family and stuff like that. So I think what I get from all this narrative, all this attack from other clubs, is that there is a fear factor now out there in the Arsenal is mentioned. People are beginning to realize that, after all, this team is now a threat. So instead of them to accept that, they try to tweak the narrative and make it an attack on us. I don't know what you think about that. If you have experienced it in your own, private groups, here and there.
Yeah, I think that especially in the EPL, when rival fans start to, speak ill incessantly about your club, that just there you become relevant. In various forums that I'm part of, you see more and more attacks on Arsenal. That's all they speak about. Even fans no longer talk about their own clubs. They would rather you see something happening in a different club, somebody will bring in Arsenal into it because yes, they are just scared, they are concerned. This club that they knew was a sleeping giant has just woken up. And you look at everything, you see the coach. The coach is so bright and yet so young. And you see the possibilities of what will happen in the future. And it doesn't look like the type of coach that will do 1 or 2 seasons and want to run to the next club. He looks settled. He has that sense of family, and that's what he's developing there. And you know that can only lead to sustained success. I was listening to a well-known Man City fan on one of the YouTube channels today, and I think Arsenal fans got him really upset because when they won the treble, he said that Arsenal fans were criticizing him, saying he was arrogant because he was celebrating the treble win. And so, and the fact that Arsenal rivaled Manchester City for rights, I think got under the guy's skin.
Yes.
So today he was really upset, just castigating Arsenal fans, declaring that Arsenal will not finish above Liverpool next season.
Yeah, I heard it.
I'm thinking, no, right? I cannot even sit here now, second or third week of transfer season, and predict top four. Why would I do that? Even with all the players Arsenal are buying, the only thing I can say is that I believe Arsenal will finish within the top four. But I cannot tell you who will win. I can probably say, yes, City will win because of their experience. But predicting who will be second, third, fourth, when people haven't finished, doing their transfers, you haven't seen them in preseason, you don't know who's going to start, you don't know who's going to leave. It doesn't make any sense. It's just, for me, that's just stupid banter. That's what I will call it. Just talking for the sake of talking. If you ask me who will finish next season, second, third, and fourth, I'll tell you, please look for something else to talk about or go on a holiday if you don't have anything to talk about. But I cannot start predicting stuff because you know I'm scared or I'm angry at fans of one club or whatever it is. I mean, no, there's no point doing any of those predictions now. It's far too early, right? So yeah, um, as an Arsenal fan, I'm happy for the work that the club has done so far. I know that rival fans are upset. People like United with what's going on. I know that's what we're going to talk about next. Um, you know, I feel so bad for the club, but having felt with this bad feeling will soon disappear because I hear that Qatar is about to take over the club. I think they've gone really far, and once they take over the club, United will become a huge, a huge, more bigger threat than they've ever been because there'll be money, and perhaps they'll be able to get the right people in the club to make the right decisions. So that's just kind of a segue into what we want to discuss next.
Yeah, you're holding it right there. We're moving to Man United right now. We're going to talk about Man United, their situation in the transfer window and what's going on in the club right now and their new contract links and deals. And just like you rightly said, I probably what you just mentioned about the takeover being an advanced position, because 2 days ago, Man United withdrew the contract they offered to DeGea and made a reduced offer. And for the first time, we are equivocal about telling him that he's not going to be the number one. And that for me, that was a very, very huge one. First of all, the guy has not agreed to sign the one you gave to him before.
Yeah.
And at this crucial time, he's going to run, this contract is going to be out in the next, by 1st of July, I think. You go and put the contract, reduce the amount you're offering him, and still tell him that there's no guarantee there's going to be the number one come next season. What you're telling him invariably is, well, it's okay to leave if you want to leave. The fear earlier on was that Man United did not want to let DeGea, didn't want him to not to sign in case they don't have they are not able to secure a top class goalkeeper, because the priority was going to be to secure a Messi Mount and a striker. Then they look at the goalkeeping that position. So now for them to do this, that means that they are ready to lose the gear. And for them to be ready to lose the gear, that means they have funds, they have budget for that position. And we all know that they are linked strongly to Onana. They are pursuing that deal. So talk us through that issue, that with the gear. What do you think is going on in the head of Erik ten Hag in withdrawing that contract, being this strong and firm and equivocal in the offer the offer they made to the gear? And what do you think that the implication is going to be? Are there any? Do you see him leaving and to where?
It can only mean one thing, and that's exactly what you said. It can only mean, listen, we want to slowly push this guy out. If possible, we'd like to keep him, but as an option and not the number one, right? Because you cannot pay a goalkeeper upwards of $300,000 a week and keep him as an option. Or no, yes, and keep him as an option or as a backup, right? It's only your number one that can earn that kind of money. So by reducing the amount they're offering him in a week, they are saying, hey, we want you to become an option. We don't want you to become our hard and fast number one. And so what does that mean? I think that if I were De Gea, I don't know who's coming after him. Short of going to Saudi Arabia, I doubt that any of the major clubs presently in the world will come for De Gea as number one. Listen, I'm talking about starting number one all the time. Now, because of his peculiar frailties, he's an excellent goalkeeper, very dependable one, but he's not able to really build attacks from the back. And that's where everybody is going now, Unless it's a club that's not traditionally known for being able to build from the back, then they will make him a number one at his age and with the kind of money he's going to earn. And so I think he probably will end up at Saudi Arabia, or he may end up staying at United as an option, making a lot of money still, but not being the hard and fast number one.
Yeah, you remember when we were doing the fan fiesta, I remember telling you guys this, that I don't think the guy should be first choice in Man United because of how Erik ten Hag wants his teams to play. Being able to use your foot or your feet is a very integral part of being the goalkeeper in Man U going forward. And it looks like the coach has come to stay. The ownership has confidence in him. So, and if the team has to play the way he wants to play, DeGea is a misfit to. It's just like when Guardiola arrived at Man City. Hart wasn't a bad shot stopper, but he had issues. He said he had issues using his feet, and they had to let him go.
Yeah.
So I think that's what has happened to DeGea. And unfortunately, like you rightly said, I don't see any top team in Europe right now that need a goalkeeper that cannot use play with his feet, because that's the new direction that position is going to right now. So it's really a shame for DeGea, but at the same time, the team has to progress, and the kind of performance that Onana gave this past season, I don't see anybody signing him now and not assuring him that he's going to be a number one. Otherwise, he will stay in Inter Milan. First of all, he's not even able to convince both him and Inter to sell. So what are you telling him to convince him and convince them to sell him? Is he okay? Come and fight for position? No, it's not going to work. So probably that's the reason why they want to save that money. Either they want to save money from the gear salary to fund that transfer, or like you said, the ownership takeover is about to happen, and they know that they're going to have funds to take care of different positions. And that takes us to Mason Mount. This was another one that has dragged for as long as the transfer window has been open. Is now in loggerheads. Man U has given Chelsea a take it or leave it offer. Chelsea has not rejected, but they've not accepted, and this is going to like 1 week now. What do you think if you were to be Man United, what will you do at this moment?
It's a very difficult question. Difficult in the sense that they've already chased this guy for a while, and the differential in the amount the bid and the amount just they're asking for is about 5 million, or maybe a little bit above that. I think that United are really just flexing their muscles by saying, hey, you guys cannot force us to pay what you want. Not that they cannot afford it, but if they feel that Chelsea are pushing and trying to take advantage of them, and that's why they are delaying, I think that United will finish that deal and still buy him, because you don't want to invest. This is exactly what happened with De Jong last summer, right? Chase the De Jong for almost all off season, almost all summer, and then at the end of the day, ended up not getting him. Had to go pay over the odds to get Anthony and to get the other midfielders, Casemiro and the rest of them. So if they've learned their lessons, I think they will try and finish this Mount deal real quickly. Look at, Arsenal have really surprised all of us with the speed with which they worked. This is the second week, second week of the summer window, and they're about tying up 3 solid top-ranked players at good money too. So I think United would do well to get this mounted deal finished as soon as possible, either by tabling a bit more money or by making a decision to walk away. But if he walks away, what are the options? Remember, Mount is an English player. There are so many other things involved in this stuff, right? Let's say you walk away from Mount. Who are you going to buy? Which other attacking midfielder has the profile that Mount offers? Remember, United is a traditional English club. They also need traditional English players to, be in their team for obvious reasons. So I'm scratching my head to get, except the likes of James Madison that has just signed for Spurs, right? Who else? within that central attacking midfield role can you get with the profile of Mount? You see, there are not many of them, except you go abroad and you're not sure of the adaptability. So, I would encourage them if I were close to their ears to say, hey, just try and finish off this deal and get it done and face your other targets. Otherwise, Chelsea have sold enough players and are still selling to be able to, be comfortable and continue to string this along for as long as possible.
Yeah, but another way to it is, like we're talking about Arsenal before, when some clubs do some things, people will say, yeah, their principle, that's how they work. Everybody respects them. But when it's United and Arsenal, the narrative will be twisted. I give you an example with Liverpool. Liverpool never overpays for players. It's only Van Dijk and maybe Alisson. When they say this player is worth 50 million, if you say 60, they walk away. And nobody is going to raise an eyebrow or that they don't have money or they're being petty. Man City does it. But when it's Arsenal or Man United, they say the owners or the managers are being buffy. Now, the first thing is Mason Mount is out of contract next summer. He has told you, Chelsea, I am not renewing my contract. Sell me now or I leave for free. So for me, this puts Man United in a strong position. The only problem they have here in delaying this deal is probably having him do preseason with the team and get ready for the new season. But sometimes some of these things are needed as well. So it's like you said, I can't really tell United to stand their ground. At the same time, I don't think it's also completely right to budge to what because Chelsea should be in a weak position, actually, because if they really value this player, they shouldn't be letting him go on free next summer. And it looks like Mason Mount is 100% on the same page with Man United, which is encouraging them to do what they are doing. So it looks like if anybody's going to budge on this one, it's going to be Chelsea. Though, like you said, if Man United have identified the role that Mason Mount will play for them in the team, why waste the time? But sometimes, as we have seen, sometimes these things are part of the business. So we'll wait and see how this one is going to end. But I believe that Mason Mount will be wearing the Red Devil jersey come August, in the new season. The another thing that worried me about United, I heard the news that broke that United are willing to accept 30 million for Jadon Sancho to leave to any club. And that was a huge shock. And I don't know, how did you process this one?
Well, it's a player they bought for 75 million. After all that noise, a player with obvious talent.
And they chased him for 2 years.
Yeah, obvious talent, but no clear plan for the player. No strong correlation and planning by the director of football and the coach in conjunction with the coach before looking for players. Jadon Sancho, fortunately or unfortunately, he probably needs to find a club that suits him real fast. Otherwise, it will be another wasted career of a top talent. It affected him mentally last year. Remember, there was a time he had to train on his own for almost 2 months, just stay on his own. I hear he had mental issues, right? Because he lost confidence. He saw the selection for the World Cup. He wasn't being considered. This was a player that was the top talent in English football at a point that everybody was a shoe-in for the national team. He was shocked that the World Cup was approaching and he wasn't even in consideration, right? So he needs to really get his future in place by finding a club. I would say don't find a top, club like that. Find a club that may be in Champions League. Maybe go back to Germany where he really flourished, or maybe go to Spain, and find a club like, say, Villarreal or Atletico Madrid. No, not Atletico Madrid because of the way they play, but maybe Sevilla, maybe Real Sociedad. Really strong Spanish, oriented football club. Join them bring your value before you know what's going on. He's going to go right back to where he was and he'll be at the top again because he has the skills and everything. I don't think United will work because obviously the way the team plays doesn't suit him and the options that they have will not bring out the best in him. So he needs to really make that step this summer and move forward.
Yeah, the thing is that this one shocked me, though at the same time he has not really produced. And I was talking about Declan Rice earlier. I was talking about attitude and professionalism and stuff. You know, when things go wrong, people always tend to blame the environment, people outside. They don't. For me, the first thing you should do is to look inwards. You have the talent. Or I don't think him as a person has applied himself, has pushed himself that much to succeed in United. I think he has come with that mentality of they have been looking for me for 2 years, they love me, and they're going to treat me like the baby of the house. I think that's what has happened to Sancho. Sancho needs to look at himself in the mirror and say, no, this has to work. But I think he hasn't done that. And like you rightly said, another way out for him is, for me, I would have said he should have prepared to go on loan to Dortmund. But the problem, the danger is with this is, like you said, if he goes to a lower club or a player that is not really much on the limelight, that could be the end of his career. You remember the other Man United player, what's his name? The dancer.
Oh, yeah. That one is talking about Saudi Arabia now.
Exactly. What's his name?
Trying to figure out his name.
I'll remember. I think so. That guy, that's how, as young as he is, he played the Nottingham Forest last season. He couldn't make anything out of it, and now the career is gone where he's gone. Dele Alli, the same thing. So you see that they are said he's looking like, because there was so much noise and love shown to them for not really achieving much in the career yet. It got into their head and they felt that it's going to be Eldorado all the way. Now the going is rough. You got to pick yourself up, look at yourself in the mirror, look at what you're not doing right, and apply yourself in a better way to help your team. So I think Sancho should work out a way to move his career forward. And if for United to have come to the point where, after all this noise, they are ready to accept offers for him, it doesn't speak good for his career. And I don't think it's going to be a good one for him. And if that's the case, I think he should quickly, like you said, find another club and try to restart his career and see what he can make out of it. Otherwise, that's going to be another talent, wasted in England, and that would be the end of the story. And so that takes us to the last one for the day, Harry Kane. Harry Kane, for the first time recently, Bayern Munich is going hard on this one. They put in their first bid for, I think, 65 million euros. Then Levy, of course, we know, rebuffed it. And they've come, from what I heard today, they come again with their second bid. And I don't know if Tottenham has responded yet. They haven't. So it looks like Bayern Munich is serious this time around to take Harry Kane. How do you see this one panning out?
Wow, it's exciting. Exciting to see if Daniel Levy will finally leave Harry Kane to go out there and win something, right? Bayern Munich, for coming back with the second bid, shows me that maybe Harry Kane is keen on this move, right? Otherwise, Bayern wouldn't want to waste their time chasing after him. And they started quite low at 60 million. Let's see what the next bid will. Have they bid the second time?
Yeah, what the bid is? I think they're sending the second bid for 75 million.
75. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So that's quite a jump from 60. So let's see how these guys work, what Tottenham does. But I think it's time. And I think it will be great for Kane to go to Bayern Munich. If he goes there, oh my goodness, then they are favorites for the Champions League, definitely. With the squad that they have, Kane, of course, will take them even to the next level, even more. Kane is a supreme footballer, very gifted, very experienced, the captain of the English national team. There's nothing more to be said about his abilities and his experience. So um, I pray and I wish for his sake that he finally gets to move and we get to see Harry Kane in another club and really enjoy his talent. Staying back in Tottenham is boring. It's not productive. It's just a waste of his career. For all he's achieved on an individual basis, he really needs to win something at the club level and national team level as well. What do you think?
Yeah, like you mentioned about the ownership takeover in Man United, I have a feeling that Bayern Munich don't want to waste time on this one, because if United are to get any form of funding today, the next morning, I guarantee you, they will sign Harry Kane. So that's one of the things I think that is really making Bayern Munich move fast on this one, because they know that this transfer talk of United is a very serious one and it can happen anytime. And they don't want to be in a bidding war. You see what happened between Arsenal and Man City over the Clarice. Bayern Munich is not a team that we know that does that. So probably they're trying to move fast on this one to try to get their man before United has the funds to, to rival them in this one. And like you rightly said, Harry Kane needs to leave Tottenham for sure, and it looks like he has given Bayern Munich, the green light. It's also possible, because I also heard sometime last week that it looks like that the league doesn't want to sell Harry Kane to an EPL club. So apparently, words has gotten to Bayern that yes, this man has a body posture of I'm not selling. I don't care if he lives on free next summer. But if I get offer from Europe outside the EPL, he might consider it. Probably that's why Bayern is coming. So it looks like looks like a deal that is going to happen. It looks like whatever happens this season, I believe Harry Kane is not going to be in Tottenham next season, because apparently he has made it clear to Daniel Levy that I'm not going to renew my contract even if you offer me 400 million. So if you want to sell now. If you don't want to sell, that's fine. Next season I walk away, free. So it looks like Bayern Munich is going to get their man, as long as the takeover in United doesn't happen before this deal is struck. Otherwise, Man United will come with they don't mind emptying their whole summer transfer in that deal, because, and to be honest, I'm not supposed to be saying this as an Arsenal fan. If United signs Harry Kane, they will be title contenders next season.
No doubt. I agree. I agree with you.
So,
and another angle of it is, please, I also want Kane to leave that Tottenham team being an Arsenal fan. He's punished us over and over, season after season. I just want to see the back of Harry Kane away from that Tottenham, first of all, and then away from the EPL as well.
okay, guys. I know if there's so much to be talked about the transfer window already, both concerning Arsenal, Man United, Man City, and fortunately or unfortunately, most of these deals are linked together. So if you want to talk about Man City, it still brings Arsenal into it. So this we are going to stop for today. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so far. Like and share the video. And like I said earlier on, for our Nigeria football fans, in 2 days' time, we're going to be dropping a video to give you the outcome of the Super 8 competition I played at Eket over the weekend. And we're going to be having one of the most renowned coaches in Nigerian football, the assistant coach of the 3SC of Ibadan. He will be on the show live with us. So look forward to that video and entertain and enjoy yourself. Like Ugum said in the beginning, don't forget to get busy in the comment section. Let us know your view on the topics we have discussed, or other topics you want to discuss on this show, on the channel. We want to hear from you as you enjoy our videos. Ugum?
Yes, and also we want to thank everyone that subscribed so far. our next target is to hit 2,000 subscribers, right? Guys, can we get our count up to 2,000 subscribers at least by the middle of July? Listen, preseason is about to start. We'll present stuff from preseason games from the EPL clubs coming to the United States, as well as coverage of Nigerian football, and we'll bring non-stop action to you. So please subscribe. If you're listening to this and you haven't pressed that like button, please do that. Let's bring it, hit the 2,000 mark and keep flying. We've been flying since we started about a month ago. We can't stop at this point. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, guys, and bye for now. We'll see you at the other end after Declan Rice has signed the contract and be unveiled as an Arsenal player. Bye for now, guys.